Welcome to the Champion Blueprint Podcast, where mindset meets mission.
We're diving into what it really takes to lead, win, and live with purpose.
From NFL locker rooms to boardrooms, it's all about discipline, core values, and the habits that build champions.
Whether you're leveling up in business, life, or leadership, this is your playbook.
Champion your mindset.
Champion your purpose.
Let's go.
Welcome, everybody, to Champion Blueprint, the podcast. I'm excited. We're going to be covering everything from life, work, ships, relationships, business ships, friendships, and really help everybody get into that champion mindset where they can be able to find their purpose in life. I'm George Rogers, and I'm here with my friend and co-host, the one and only NFL legend, champion himself.
Yes, sir.
Gary Brackett. What's going on, my friend?
Hey, man, I'm doing great, man. When you said ships, I was like, I was starting already. But this is going to be a clean show.
Clean ship.
And
all kind of ships.
Yeah, that's it, man. But I'm excited, man, because I think in this time that we're in right now, people need encouragement.
Yeah.
You know, people need motivation, but they need inspiration and transformation. They need wisdom and words and things that are going to help change them and impact their lives.
Yeah, and I think we got a lot of those experiences. You and I, we come from two different worlds in a sense, but we got a lot of experience in the playing field of life, right? And so we got some ups and downs, we got some triumphs, we got some tragedies and some trivia trials in there, and we just want to be able to share those things because everybody can relate to something in life, and so we just want to be able to empower people to help you get your mind right. Most of the time, we're always facing things in our mind. The battle begins in the mind.
No doubt.
And you can do things that you want to do, pursue things you want to pursue, and sometimes it just takes a little bit of encouragement, somebody else's wisdom and insight, somebody else's story. So we're going to share some stories. And I'm excited about it. But I got one question, just kind of kick this off. What can people expect from this? When I think about this, and we kind of connected and built a brotherhood over the last several months, and we've been talking a lot about a lot of synergies that we have within our life and our journey and our the way we speak, the language we use, in a sense with champion purpose and champion the mindset. But what's your heart behind this podcast and what you want to give to the audience?
Yeah, it's funny. Starting off with ships, I think the relationships, like giving all that practical wisdom. But for me, one of the things that I've always appreciated and felt almost guilty about was like having conversation and having one-on-ones and having these meetings or when we have guests. And I'm like, this is great information. It's like, and for me, I always try to figure out a way, how can I scale this? How can I get this information to more people? And I think having a podcast, like you said, when we met, we knew each other because we were supposed to do a conference that got canceled years ago.
COVID, thanks for COVID.
Yeah, exactly. And Eric, shout out to Eric. We met at his, what was it? It
was like a little holiday festivity. It was like Christmas, New Year's kickoff.
So we linked up and like we hit it off. Yeah. And I think, energy doesn't lie. And it was one of those situations where from the beginning we were trying to help each other. Yeah. And we had respect for one another and listened to one another. And we just kept on continuing to meet and it just evolved into this. So what you can expect on a podcast with us sharing wisdom, practical advice, just about building your life to become a champion. Yeah. We both are on this championship journey. And like you said, there's been trials and there's been tribulations. But one thing we both never did was quit. Yeah. And we pivoted, and I think a lot of people are in a pivot right now, or they're going to be heading into a pivot. So what things that we've done and that we learn from that we can, help the other people and help the listeners kind of get their life together and start making their path on their championship journey.
Yeah, when I think about that, and I wrote a book called Champion Your Purpose. You got the Champion Your Mindset. And I think about, man, I wish I would have read your book first before I wrote mine. Because for me, I have this desire. Somebody asked me yesterday, I was traveling from Nashville at a conference, and somebody asked me, like, what's your purpose? And this truly is my purpose in life, I feel like is to help champion people. Right. Like, that's the greatest success that I have is joy in life. It's seeing other people walk in their purpose. And part of that is, have that mindset. So, when it comes to like champion mindset, when I think about my book and Champion Your Purpose, it's really about finding who you are. We know what we do today, day to day. Everybody has a job. You know what your job is, but showing up to work and understanding why you're doing it. Like, what's your why, right? When I wake up and I look at my kid who I adopted, my nephew, and I've had him for 8 strong years, influence in his life. He's part of that why. He's part of that story of what I do and why I do it. And so when I come to champion my purpose, that's what it's all about. I'm intrigued because we talked about this a lot, and we're both acronym junkies, right? So you're going to hear a lot of acronyms. We're going to shout it out and give you all the influence. But when it comes to the champion mindset, Gary, like what was it that changed in your life that you realized, whether it's in sports, whether it's, coming from where you come from, something triggers right in your mind that says, I am able to do this. I am a champion. What was your moment?
Yeah, it's funny. Growing up, I don't know about you. I didn't have a lot of people that showed me what I should do. I had more of like people in the neighborhood or where I grew up and things that I didn't want to do.
Yeah.
Or, ex-athletes that I didn't want to become.
Right.
We didn't have any professional athletes. We didn't have any people who left and became entrepreneurs or went on a journey, anything like that. So I think all those things were something that I didn't have directly. I had a mom and dad who loved me dearly, right? And for me, I had 3 older brothers where I always compete with them and their friends, and it got to a point where I got pretty good. After I got beat up enough, right, you get pretty good. And then, you're playing. I can remember this vividly. It was like turkey, Thanksgiving, we had the turkey bowl.
Oh, everybody has a turkey bowl.
Yeah, right. So it was old heads.
Did you have grass or were you on the street?
Oh, no, we're on the grass. We're on the grass. But it was a very tight service.
Right.
So I can remember it's like everyone like 17 or it was like 18 out of high school and everyone in high school know, right? And I'm in 8th grade.
Yeah.
So I'm playing against all these grown men essentially, right? And these are like bullies of the neighborhood, right? Yeah. Playing football. And I can remember this guy catch a screen pass, former like high school star, and I'm in the flat. Now I went to go tackle him. He tried to put a move on me, and I just belly to belly picked him up and like jumped and slammed him like in the woods, right? And everyone's like, oh, going crazy, right? Yeah. And he's like, no, don't do me like that. They're just like, it's football, right? You can actually be physical,
right?
So, so I just was kind of like, man, had confidence. So then every time I got the ball, of course, he wants his get back.
Yeah. So
he sprinted at me. So then, like during the last play, I got a screen, same situation. He tries to do the same to me, and I run him over.
Yeah.
Right, and it's like, yo, I got something inside of me, right, that's different.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it just constantly doubled down on believing in myself and not letting someone's position or someone's, past like influence me or scare me to thinking that I don't deserve, success.
Yeah.
And I think that really just started thinking of, if you put in the hard work, if you believe in yourself, if you face your bullies, if you stop running from these monsters and these so-called fears and turn around and face them and fight them, like you can win.
Yeah, I think it's developing that confidence, right?
Yeah.
There's always going to be somebody in opposition, right? Yeah. I always say, where there's an opportunity for you, there's always going to be opposition that you're going to have to face to get to that place. And so I got a question though. What made you go from, because you talked about the tackle that got you the voice, right? Got you the celebration. But you also said that you ran him over. So at what point, I'm gonna go back to this conversation but I want to know, at one point you realized I want to be a running back.
Yeah.
Or I want to be a linebacker. Like what was that mindset? Like was there some aggression? Was that the way you released some frustration?
Yeah.
Like, what changed for you?
So again, we're gonna be real, right?
Keep it real.
So in high school, if you're a running back and you score touchdowns, you got the girls.
Yeah.
Right. So in my shallow mind in high school, I wanted to be running back. Right. Okay. I wanted to score. I wanted to get girls. But then you realize that in football, there's only one ball. Right. Mm-hmm. And if you're running back, there's no guarantee how many carries you're gonna have. There's no guarantee if the offensive line is gonna block or what position it is. I learned on defense, like none of that matters. All right, there's one ball, but you could tackle it every single time. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter what your guys are front; they can help you out, but you can still, sideline to sideline, kind of make tackles. That aggression is less structured than offense. It's not a direct design. Yeah, you got your job, but I think it's more freedom on the defense side of the ball. Yeah. And like you said, unloading on someone from a defender is like way better, in my opinion, than running the ball and getting those hits.
Gotcha. So back to your story.
Yeah.
And understanding that you have something greater inside of you. Mm-hmm. That switched your mindset to realize, hey, it's more than just, life. There's something else in there that you're meant for something else. And I think that's important for our audience and for those who are listening. is that you have something greater inside of you.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes a moment like that. It takes in a crowd. It takes a person. For me, it took my father, who brought me in to come into the inner city. Short, fat, bald, butterbean. Shout out to him. He right. Edit that out. No, I was joking.
Yeah.
But it took somebody to believe in me that saw me more than just an inner city kid with leather in my hand, whether it was basketball or football. And at this time, and Eric, our buddy, I was smaller than Eric Armstrong. Shout out to Eric Armstrong. But I was a twig until my sophomore year. I was 5'8", 5'9", and then I shot up. And by that time, I realized that it was more than basketball.
Yeah.
That you can impact people. There was positivity out there. And that's where I discovered that I wanted to do more than just sports. I wanted to help lead and impact other people that look like me, that came from where I came from. Yeah. Right. And so then I started developing what does it mean to be a leader? Right. What's the difference between following somebody and leading somebody? And then it wasn't until later in life that I realized I got to champion myself before I can champion somebody else. Man, that's right. Good. And so it went from leading other people to realizing, George, you ain't leading yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. You're not championing yourself. You're not showing grace to yourself. You're not loving. You're loving everybody else, not loving yourself. Right. All these different things. You trust somebody more than you trust yourself.
Yeah.
I was trusting other people's potential more than I was trusting my potential.
Right.
And I think part of that whole champion your mindset, champion your purpose, you got to learn not just to lead other people, but lead yourself first. And so I discovered that my mindset switched when I realized all these people believe in me and I'm believing everybody else, but I ain't believing in me. Right. I was forgetting about me. Somebody else was championing me, and I thought that's the way of life. I didn't realize you got to champion yourself as well. And so you discover that, made that impact, got the crowd excited. Right. And so you got that mindset. What was the next step for you? Because when I think about it, I have 3 things, and I'll share them, but after you discover that purpose in your life, like there's something beyond just where you were coming from, your environment. Because a lot of times people try to use that environment as a cursor, like I am who I am because this is where I come from. And don't realize that there's a door on the outside.
I caveat for people out there, right? Because people always use this as a crutch. It's like, you don't know where I'm from. Or you don't know how I grew up. We all got our own sad stories, bro.
Yeah, we got a story.
So it's just like, don't let that be the excuse of why you don't make it.
Right. It's the whole, I used to complain about my shoes until I met a man with no feet.
Yeah, exactly. Right? So I think, despite that, and there's a ton of people who've won in life with worse hands.
Yeah.
So back to like the purpose and what I felt and what I was just convicted to do was like become my own man.
Right.
And in high school, and I'm going to follow up with you because you transitioned from playing sports and being an athlete to realizing that necessarily isn't the only way to impact lives.
Right.
But for me, I think my brother was a very good athlete. My brothers were good athletes, but I just always felt like I don't have to be exactly like them.
Right.
Like I could be different. And I think people get so caught up, even now with my son, with wanting to be cool or not wanting to like be like the hard worker or be the guy who's a coach's pet or be the guy who comes to work early and leaves late. Like, what are you trying to do? And make it look bad? And for me, like, yes, I'm trying to make you look bad.
Raising standards.
Yeah, that's it, raising standards. And I think I figured that out. It's just like, hey, I don't have to kneel. I don't have to not play my hand as good as I want to. Just because everyone isn't wanting to play theirs.
Trying to make somebody else's comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that was important. So getting back to you in terms of like making that transition of being an athlete, right? Because let's face it, in America, growing up, especially when we did in the 80s and 90s, if you're a black
shout out to the 80s and 90s.
Oh man, that was a beautiful time. We'll all be arrested now if we had cameras and everything, right? But that's besides the point. But what about the transition from being an athlete, playing basketball, to then realizing, because your father, right? Shout out to him. He was a speaker. He kind of had his business rolling. He's kind of doing similar things that you're doing now. So what was that mindset shift and your purpose about being an athlete to being a speaker or being on stages or being in front of people?
Yeah, so real talk. So Tim McNamee, he was an IRS tax man, right? So just, you think about this from an inner city standpoint. I grew up in Hallville. Shout out to all the Hallville peeps out there, but I grew up in Hallville, and so there wasn't a lot of white men or women coming in the area. If you're, and for the ones that were there, they were the neighborhood watches, or had a nice grocery store, candy store, or whatever. But when he came in, and he was a pastor, but he was T-Bone. He was Tim. He was T. You know, everybody get a nickname when you come. Absolutely. When you feel like you're welcome in.
Yeah, it's funny how you don't remember someone's name, but you remember their nickname.
Yeah, you got the nickname for sure. I don't know half the people that have those names. It's like, who? What's the real like? I want the government name.
Yeah, I know T-Bone. All right, yeah.
But when he came in, and I think he made the impact on thousands of inner city kids.
Yeah. Over
his course of work in Hallville, Riverside, the Ponds, all this stuff, Stringtown, all the West Indianapolis area, he made his impact because he was human. It wasn't about the title, right? And sometimes in life and leadership and the work, businesships, friendships, the title means more than the actual person.
Yeah.
And with him, he never lost sight of who he was, and he was just human.
Right.
He was just a man that came to bring positivity and to love people and show them what love truly was. Like the battle of lust, what I thought was love was really lust. I was lusting a lot of stuff.
No question.
And so, but with him, he was just authentic. It was that true authentic leadership. And it was ninth grade. I had a summer accident and had surgery. I was out, lost a lot of weight, and that's a story for another time. But it was during that time, and I realized he was traveling a lot, and I got to start traveling with him over the summer. And then going to Ben Davis, I realized I can get out of school for religious reasons.
No.
So I would go with my dad.
Using the Lord.
Yeah. So we were doing back to school assemblies and doing anti-drug gang violence and school assemblies.
Yeah.
So he would do these and then invite you out to this church at the end of the day. It was kind of like, here's a piece of candy, like come and hang out, breaking bricks, ripping telephone books, doing all these cool stuff. And I'm like, I can get out of school and do this.
Wow.
And I wasn't thinking about education. I wasn't thinking about sports. I was thinking about, I enjoy this and I can get out of school and still do my work and it's cool. So I got to travel with him. And then what I didn't realize was happening was that I was just watching him, right? Watching his life, watching his lifestyle, his impact. And the true adage of you become who you surround yourself with, right? And I started talking like him, like not necessarily his message, but the positivity. My pants went from here to up here.
Yeah.
I saw that he's, the hands he was shaking in the community, black pastors and, Mexican, like there was never a race. And like he was just real. And so from there, I realized I don't need a ball to get out of here. And because I was so average at best, I was fast. Yeah. But we had talent. I mean, Eric was, Eric, like all these guys I went to school with, track stars.
Yeah, absolutely.
James Banks came over.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
James Banks still, top 5, if not top 1 athlete in the state.
Funny, I used to work out with James.
And so
great kid.
Just a beast. So like it was like I realized the writing on the wall. Now I have the determination, I have the discipline, right? Yeah. So when I think about my championship mindset and what really clicked for me, I went from my dad's a huge motivator to motivation to get you so far, but you got to have discipline.
Right.
So I stopped seeking motivation, and I just want to become disciplined at what it was I wanted to do. And so it switched for me from sports to I can impact somebody's life just by talking to them, sharing my story, sharing what I saw and say, hey, listen, this is where I come from. This is what I've done in my life. And it's more than that, right? You can go through a door that you thought was impossible. You can sit down with somebody, right? We talked about this, just a few months ago. I introduced you to my partner. I was like, man, I went from a fan to a friend.
Yeah.
Right? And so you can have those conversations with people where you discipline yourself. And so for me, it was my pops taught me how to go from motivation, because you got to have that every day. Yeah. If you're not, you can't get motivated. I can't be motivated by you.
Yeah.
Because the moment you're gone out of my life, then I'm gonna have to find somebody else, right? And so it's that discipline that it took.
But motivation starts and the loop continues because you take action.
Right. Yep. You got to. That's the part. So you take action, but you go from motivation to discipline, where you're not living on the words of somebody else or a book or a quote, but you have that discipline where it becomes internal, right? Motivation is outside. Discipline is something that you got to have here and here, right?
Yeah.
The discipline to show up.
Yeah.
The discipline to be by that coach.
Yeah.
When the coach is there, you're there. You stay even when he leaves or she leaves, right? And so having that discipline. The other thing was that I had to go from fear of failure to the growth of failure.
Wow.
Right?
What's the difference?
So the fear of failure was that I didn't do things that other people saw the potential in me, right? When I think about potential, for instance, potential is like that Christmas present underneath the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
You know exactly what it is. Like you know what it is.
Right.
There's only one thing it could be. It's a guitar, it's a bike, whatever it is, but you can't open it. Right. Potential is that gift that is unopened. Like it's good, it's great, you want it, but if you don't open that up and use it or work it, like it'll only work if you work it.
Right.
And so for me, I had to go from fear of failure to, can I do this? Should I do this? To I will do this. And then from fear of failure to growth of failure is that even if I fail, I'm failing forward, right? John Maxwell puts it out best, failing forward. And so I was not worried about what other people thought about me. So that was a switch of having my own identity where I'm not living on somebody else's motivation. I'm not living on somebody else's word if I do fail, because failure is going to happen.
Yeah, no.
Right? You fail when you don't take the risk. Like that's the worst type of failure. And so I had to realize that I'm going from a fear of failure to growth of failure, where I'm going to grow through these hardships, because Babe Ruth struck out more times than he hit home runs, right? Michael Jordan missed more shots than he hit. Right.
So the most touchdowns,
it's a cycle,
the most interceptions.
Right? Yeah. And so it's this cycle. Peyton Manning, he had that record. And so I had to realize that I'm going to fail no matter what. I'm going to miss 100% of the shots I don't take, right? All these adages. And so I had to realize that I had to go from fear of failure to the fear of growth, where I had to champion myself through those processes. And it wasn't always great. Like, it wasn't always exciting. You failed. Sometimes you get in the ditch, you get in the rut, and you're like, man, is this going to work?
Yeah.
Right? Do I need to switch something up? For me and my pops, and what he taught me is that the message never changes. The method may change, but the message is what it is. You're a champion. You got to do championship stuff. Now, the method of how you're going to become that champion is going to be dictated upon the opposition you're going to face.
Right.
One week you may face opposition that's fast and furious. Next week you got to be more methodical, right? It goes from chess to checkers, right? Yeah. Which one is it? And so you got to realize which one it is. And the final thing that I realized is that I had to stop seeking approval.
Wow.
Right? I had to stop worrying about, who was clapping for me.
Yeah.
Because that's the worst feeling.
And who are you seeking approval from?
Anybody, right? I wanted the spotlight. When I was growing up, it's sports. So you want to be the quarterback because you get to call the plays, you get to have the ball there, right? You want to be that star in whatever it is you want to do, because you're seeking that recognition. But that goes from knowing who you are to whose you are. And so, like, once I realized who I was.
Say that again.
You like that, don't you?
Yeah, that was a good one.
You got to know. And it's the difference, right? Going up to church, like, who I am and whose I was. Right? It's that I'm not the environment of where I came from. I'm my own man.
Right.
And so I had to own that standard.
Yeah.
Right? From seeking approval to owning my standard and who I was.
Yeah.
And that's where it became a whole purpose. I feel like I need to write it. We should write another book.
Yeah.
But,
no doubt.
Those principles were important to me. Motivation to really discipline. Not being afraid of failure to growing through that failure. And then instead of, taking all these mindsets of seeking approval from everybody, I realized, and I go to Pacer games, football games all the time, I realized the loudest boos don't come from courtside.
Yeah.
They're not booing the home team on the court.
No.
Right? The people that are on the court spend a lot of money.
Yeah,
they want you to do great.
Yeah.
The loudest boos come from the nosebleed.
The cheap seats.
The cheap seats.
Yeah.
And the people that didn't want you to succeed, they're not investing in you. And so why am I getting frustrated for somebody who's not investing in me?
So I had this one cheat code when I played football.
Yeah.
You ready for it?
Let's
I'm going to give it up, right? This is like, this is gold. So first of all, Gladiators was my best movie, right?
Yeah.
So I always run to the crowd when I was in opposing stadiums, and I would, is this not why you're here? Like, are you not entertained?
We got to get that video.
Right? So that's what I would just run out. I was just screaming. But then what I started in my mind, tricking myself to say, like, no matter where I'm at, anytime people are cheering, they're cheering for me.
Yeah.
And every time people are booing, they're booing for the other team.
Right.
So I look at the whole cheap seats and the boos is the same way. They're booing for them.
Yeah.
Right? So they're never booing for me. So then internalizing it, you know what I'm saying? Always thinking like people are in my corner.
Right.
And not letting that discourage me, because I think so many people are so discouraged, to what your point, seeking approval, and when they don't get and then they hear those boos, they're like, oh, I'm just gonna play meek. I'm just not gonna try. I'm just gonna give up.
So another thing, and I'll wrap it up with this, Gary, is that oftentimes in the mindset, a lot of people struggle with this. Like it's all here, and I think sometimes it's that fear, and it's that false evidence appearing real. Is the boogeyman underneath the bed is not really there, right? And what I think it truly is the fear of being alone. For me, and many people that I talk to and coach, and you hear this a lot in people you're coaching and leading, is that inner fear of failures, that inner fear of the doubt, of insecurities. And I truly believe if we can get past that false evidence that appears real, that's really not there, right? We just need to be able to have that confidence within ourselves. And it always starts within. It's always starting here. And with that heart, you got to have that confidence to be able to champion that mindset as well.
So someone right now is listening, and they maybe were you 10 years ago, and they're looking for their purpose. They're battling that internal voice. They want to be a champion. Like, what would you share with them to kind of help them overcome? And let's get this straight. It's not like it's a journey of a champion.
Right. Like you don't just become a champion and it's done.
Yeah, this thing is
a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle, something you have to believe in. But what would you begin doing to kind of start hitting on that journey, on that path?
Yeah, I'll say, when it comes to, and we'll just lay out the champion blueprint.
That's
the Champion Blueprint podcast. The first portion for me is the foundation. Right. You can't build on a unstable foundation. And so in life, you got to find stability within yourself, which means you got to know who you are. Number one. And be able to answer that question. What does that mean? Is that for me, I was not who you thought I needed to be. I wasn't who my father or mother wanted me to be. It wasn't about the neighborhood and what I should have been. It was, who does George truly want to be? So for those of you out there watching, when it comes to really championing that mindset and that purpose and finding yourself, you got to be able to spend time with the person that we often don't want to spend time with. Right? Michael Jackson said it best. I'm talking to the man
in the mirror.
In the mirror. I'm talking to the woman in the mirror. I'm talking to you out there right now. Is that you got to find time with yourself to be able to ask yourself that question, who am I? The moment you can answer that question and have a form of identity, your foundation is set. Then you can build upon that. What do I want?
And the best thing is, if it's consistent, like every time
it can't change. Your identity can't change. You can't put a mask on and say, today I'm George, tomorrow I'm
depending on who you're hanging with.
Like you gotta be consistent.
Because if you're not authentic, that's where I think people are burnt out. People are ashamed. Or people, don't feel like they can be themselves because they're trying to adapt everywhere they go.
And so, and I thought you were going somewhere else, because on top of that, so if your identity is not great, then you got to also think about the repercussions of that. Who's going to be around somebody that's inconsistent? The identities, one moment they're happy, one moment they're sad. Somebody's messing with the thermostat in the room. It's cold in here, then it's too hot. Like, what's the mood going to be when I come around? So your identity really stabilizes who you are as a person,
I
right?
like that.
And so for me, the number one priority is identity. What would be the next step? I'll flip the question around to you as we're wrapping up and give you the final thought on this one. But what would be the next step as we're talking about building a champion blueprint? Identity, what would you say would be next?
I think the next step is like determine your values. Right? Your identity, who you are, who you want to show up, who's consistent, authentic with yourself, and then what values do you stand for? Right? So people say, man, you can make decisions so quick, right? Because I make decisions quick that are aligned with my values, that are consistent with my values, and I can say no to things that aren't consistent with my values. So are you going to this place? All right, is it going to be fear there? Is it going to be not? Like, no, I'm not going. Right? Are you going to a place? Is it a mastermind? Are we think tanking? Is it going to be a lot of love in the room? I can go to that place. So I think establishing core values and an identity and having them being consistent. And here's the thing, like you said, when you're coaching people, some people aren't congruent in alignment because their values and their identity at work aren't the same values and identity at home.
Right. That's true.
So there's this constant struggle and
Who
battle.
are you?
You know what I'm saying?
And what do you stand for?
So once you have that and you have your identity, you got those values baked in. Now you can start, and forewarning, right? Like, you're going to piss some people off. And you're going to have some tough conversations on, like, what are you willing to do and not willing to do anymore? Where are you willing to go and not willing to go anymore? And that's all cool. Everyone's not meant to go on this journey with you, right? And you don't have to cut them off by any means, but just manage their expectations on like what you're going for, what you stand for. And I think that's so critical into like making that step to becoming a champion and knowing that like, yo, everyone can't pack their bags.
Yeah.
Like this was like your call, from heaven, from the guys. This wasn't a conference call.
Yeah.
Everyone wasn't on that call.
Right.
And nor does everyone see that paradigm shift when you see it.
Yeah.
Like when you see something you're hyped about, you're excited about it. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
So you can't get upset with them because they're not on that same journey. So sometimes it takes you to be out in front, to lead from the front and do those things, have your identity, have your values, and then people are going to come along with you.
Awesome. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. To kick off Champion Blueprint, the podcast, George Rogers, my good friend, Gary Brackett over here. Listen, we're excited about what's to come. We got so much more. We got some guests that's going to be coming here, more stories that's going to be shared. But we really want to help encourage you, uplift you, inspire you, motivate you to be able to champion your purpose by discovering that champion mindset. And so today you got the foundation, we call them the steel beams. You got a little bit of the framework to go up with understanding your identity and your values. We'll put out a lot of content. You can follow us, connect with us. More information is coming soon. We're excited about this. Until next time, champion your mindset so you can champion your purpose.